Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Today we're going to talk about potential hot seat coaches in college football for 2018. If I had made this list last year, it would have been one hell of a long list. I mean, listen, the SEC had 6 head coaching changes. That's almost half the conference. The Pac-12 had a bunch. The ACC had one. I mean, it's just more coaching changes this past season than there's been in a while at one time. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start with old Mumblemouth Orgeron down there in LSU. I know. He's only going into his 3rd season as head coach there, but let's be real here. He's not coming anywhere close to winning the West. He's got a team that's loaded with NFL talent. I don't think that half the fans in Louisiana really believe in him or ever did from the beginning. If he doesn't go out there and put forth an effort, a football team on the field that can at least compete for the West and not lose to Troy at home, then I think that seat is going to get awfully sizzling. Shit. If I was an LSU booster, I'd go ahead and get him out now. I would have got him out last year. Hell, I wouldn't even hire the guy, but that's besides the point. So that's my first one, LSU Ed Orgeron.
Louisiana. Go Tigers! Go Tigers! Go Tigers!
Next on the list, we've got Jim Harbaugh, Michigan. Now look, I know a lot of people are picking Michigan to do something this year, finally. I even, on one of my previous videos when I talked about dark horse teams for this coming season, I put Michigan on that list. But here's the bottom line. The guy gets paid like $9 or $10 million a year. He's going into his 4th or 5th season there. Can't beat Ohio State, can't beat Michigan State, can't beat Penn State. I mean, he's got to put up or shut up at this point. Michigan fans, I know they love Jim Harbaugh. I know he's the hometown boy. I know he says all the right things. I know when they hired him, they were ready to erect a statue of him in Ann Arbor. But time's up, son. I'm not even saying the guy's got to go to the college football playoff, but you got to beat Ohio State. That's number one. You got to beat Ohio State. That might save your job. If you don't beat Ohio State, you still better win 10 or 11 games and go to a New Year's Six bowl game. And then win it. Looks like they finally got them a quarterback, the guy from Ole Miss, and it's about time. It's the first quarterback he's had since he had Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick was really not that good. And somebody get this guy some new pants. Next on the list, Bobby Petrino, Louisville, whatever. Louisville. Lamar Jackson. Hey, Coach Petrino, Lamar Jackson's in the NFL now. There's 2 things that Bobby Petrino is not very good at. Number 1, riding motorcycles. And number 2, winning football games without Lamar Jackson. Now you might say, hey Pete, how can he be on the hot seat? Who is Louisville going to get that's better than Petrino? Well, I would tend to agree with you there. However, unfortunately, the Louisville fans have been spoiled for the past 3 years and actually think that they're good now. So here over the next year or 2, they're going to expect to keep being good. And once the fans find out that they're not going to be good anymore without Lamar Jackson, they're going to be calling for somebody's head, a.k.a. Bobby Petrino. Man, I really didn't think it over before I made this video. There's not a lot of coaches on the hot seat because there's just so many new coaches. There's some coaches I think should have been on the hot seat for sure, and I'll briefly go through those. First, Gus Malzahn, but they gave him a contract extension. Don't lose to UCF and don't get blown out in the SEC championship game. And then get an extension. I don't get that at all. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but let's be real. He's not going to get them to the college football playoff and win it. He's just not. Oh, Boom Muschamp, up there in Columbia, South Carolina, the armpit of America. Yeah, I know he won 9 wins in an abnormally terrible division in the SEC East last year. I'm not impressed. He's not going to compete with Clemson in recruiting. He's not going to compete with Clemson on the football field. He's not going to compete with Georgia in recruiting. He's not going to compete with Georgia on the football field. And as soon as Florida gets, back to what they normally are, he's going to lose to them every year again too. They lose to terrible teams every year. They can't do anything. They can't get out of their own way. For some reason, they reach for the bottom of the barrel every time, and they get what they deserve. But they gave him a 6-year extension for $28 million or $29 million or whatever. They overpaid by $28 million if they paid him $29 million. But I'm not complaining. I love Will Muschamp being in Columbia. And last but not least, Paul Johnson. They actually gave this guy another extension. I thought people at Georgia Tech were supposed to be smart. What is this guy making? Like $4 million a year? Look, I have never coached as a head coach at any level of football, from Pee Wee up to NFL, okay, I could win as many games as Paul Johnson. I promise you I could. So Georgia Tech, if you're out there, if you're listening, I will do it. Fire him, pay him out. I will take over that contract. I'll do it for $250,000 a year. You'll have as many wins as you're going to have with Paul Johnson. You'll save a bunch of money, and you won't have a high school offense. I'll actually throw the ball. Get in touch with my agent. That concludes my hot seat video of the day. If there's one I didn't think of, because this is a very quick video I made, leave yours down in the comment section and let me know who it is. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete, checking out.